Welcome to the bright side of aging. As I like to say, age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. My name is Engelbaum. I'm the publisher of the American Senior Gazette.org and also host the radio version of Bright Side of Aging. And I truly believe that if you look at the bright side of aging, indeed, aging is a always evolving process, and depending on how you look at it, you can indeed live on the positive side of aging. And as has been wisely said, you cannot help getting older, but you can help getting old. And my purpose as a pharmacist is that I try to bring out ideas on how you can live in a vertical position for as long as is possible. And if you've inherited some bad genes, we try to identify ways that you can outwit them. My guest today is Carl Gerard Knaus. Is that right, Gerald?
Knaus.
Knaus. All right. I have a neighbor called Knaus, and I
That's where it came from. Okay.
Knaus.
Yes.
And the nice thing about your being with me today is that, and I'm going to impress you with my vocabulary by you epitomize the bright side of aging. Your book is titled Age Reversing That Really Works.
That is
and
correct.
Your company name is also that. Is
Age
that
Reversing That Really Works.
Right. Now, since we are promoting that age really doesn't matter, you don't mind identifying. How old are you?
I'm 72.
72. All right. Well, that's great. And then since I'm 75, together we're close to 150 years.
It's a lot of years. Yes, it is.
Well, that's good. Well, you know, when you analyze it, I truly believe in the fact that if you take on strategies on how you can live every day as it happens,
Yes.
and in a positive way, you indeed can enjoy life for as long as you walk the face of the earth. Now, you have a very interesting background. You certainly look terrific, and I'm not putting a hit on you. So, as I understand it, this book that you put together is not something that you just thought up overnight. It's taking you a little while to put together. Is that correct?
Yes. This started back approximately 38 years ago. I am an age-reversing teacher. I taught at Bally's Fitness Centers until they went out of business and they sold out to LA Fitness. And I have been keeping notes. I've been lifting weights basically all my life. And around 35 years of age, I noticed starting to get a little bit older at certain things I would do. So I made it my business to start my weightlifting and bodybuilding program in a way that I would always be able to put off the aging. And after I ended up leaving Bally Fitness Center, I decided I would finish this book. So I just finished it, just published it. It's available, and you were saying that you would make it available on your
on the
program.
Website, American Senior Gazette.org. Yeah,
wonderful. And right now, we've only been out about 3 weeks. We're getting outstanding results because the book is unique. It's unlike any other age-reversing book. There's 181 age-reversing books out there. The average book is over 100 pages. I designed this book based on trial and error, working through this 38-year period to make it simple, right to the point, and you can read it. It's only 44 pages long. You can read it in a half an hour, and it's got 61 points as to how you can enjoy life more by age reversing. And again, I was approved at Bally's, so what I was doing was working, and it will work for the average consumer. And obviously what I want to do is target this book to the baby boomers, but it actually can be used and applied to almost anyone. Some of the principles in the book, the basic weight reduction portion of it, almost anybody can use that one. But it's a book that's advanced, it's easy to read, it has easier techniques that you don't see out there normally when somebody goes to a gym. I recommend going to a gym. The program includes 6 different segments or chapters of age reversing. The first one is working out, or I say lift weights. And a lot of people have talked about, no, don't lift weights. You don't have to do that. You can do this and stretch and all this stuff. Through my trial and error methods, exercise comes in 2 parts. One, you have to lift weights. That's to build muscle mass, because once you hit 35 years of age, you begin to lose 0.5% of your muscle mass every year. So if you don't do something to rebuild the muscle mass and you continue eating along the same programs you have, you will gain an average of 10 pounds a year. And next thing you know, 3, 4, 5 years later, you're 50 pounds overweight. You know, what happened?
Right.
But because you know from the book that you begin to age at actually 35 years of age, all you have to do is either eat a little bit less. It only takes 100 calories a day for a year to gain 10 pounds. 100 calories too much, that's all. If you eat 100 calories too much in a total year, you've gained 10 pounds. It doesn't seem, wow, that's why it's so easy for people to gain. But if you take the precaution, eat 100 calories less every day, or start working out to rebuild those muscles, or do a combination of both, is what I recommend. The second part of the book in exercising is get some sort of aerobic in your life. Get something that you like to do. Again, I recommend going to the gym for lifting weights. Personally, I don't care for the machines. So I am a tennis player and I like dancing, good aerobic dancing. So you find something that's fun. And thirdly, that portion of the age reversing program, which will be wonderful for your life, shouldn't take you more than 4.5 hours a week, which would be 3 times at the gym, an hour and a half, and then maybe 2-3 times a week, a half hour of aerobics. That's it. So when you look at the total amount of hours you spend in a week, that's peanuts.
Right.
But if you don't know about these things and it starts creeping up on you, next thing you know, you're 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight. You can still make it back in age reverse, but it's a lot more difficult. So I like to try to get people as young as possible. But basically, when people are really starting to notice, they're baby boomers. That's where most of the people are responding to the book.
You know, I couldn't help but think in terms of the basics is that when you analyze it, it's portion size and exercise,
That's part
isn't
of it.
that?
Yeah. Well, out of the 6 chapters or categories that I teach, the second one is eating habits, just what you addressed, and some very simple things that I've learned through trial and error. Remember in the olden days, your parents used to say, make sure you finish every drop of food on that plate.
We're saving
because
Europe.
poor people in poor countries. No. In my book, I found out if you throw away the last 2 bites of your meal, there may be 25, 30 calories in there. You threw it away. You multiply that times the amount of times you eat, you may be able to save that 100 calories just by throwing away the 2 bites. Something so simple, but I discovered you get into that habit and you ought, like that, you throw it away. It works. Some simple things. There are 61 tips in the book,
well, you know,
and that's one of the tips that people laugh at, but it's amazing how if you follow it and get into that habit, it contributes to you staying in shape.
Well, you know, I hate hear you say throw away. Maybe put
true.
it away. Put it away
2
for
bites.
later.
The last 2 bites.
There's
not enough.
Yeah, there's
I know.
Tupperware.
All
and
right,
stuff.
so save the 2 bites.
Right. Or
Save
you
it
don't
for a
have to
snack
bite 'em,
for
right.
later.
Or you
Most
can
of the
store
time
it. You
you
can
throw
store
it
it.
out.
No,
The heck with it.
you
I know
store
it's America, and I know we're not supposed to say that.
Yes, the greatest
but
country.
that's it.
And isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Not to get overly philosophical.
Such a small thing can
Yeah.
be so big at the
Right.
end of a year. The
Right.
next thing, as far as eating habits, like you said, smaller plates, smaller
Right.
portions.
Right. Well, actually, there was a book a while back, his husband and wife wrote, and I thought it was really a neat idea. It still may be around. Part of the whole program was all about eating. And with the book, you got smaller plates and small forks, knives, and spoons.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. I like full-size forks and knives on the plate.
I mean, no one's forcing
yeah,
it.
yeah. But the smaller plate does work because you optically look and your plate is full, but it's smaller.
Right.
And the next thing that I discovered works well, and a lot of these things people have heard, but then they're not sure if they're true or not. I can tell you they're true if you eat more slowly and chew your food more. A 20-minute rule in your body starts to take over where you begin to feel full after. If you can drag it out for 20 minutes, your body starts to feel full and you're not full. So you may not even get down to the last 2 bites. You may even save something for that. So that was another tip that I've learned, and believe me, I've tested and retested, and some things failed, some things did not. And I've come up with a combination of things that just plain work. And so that takes care of the first 2 categories. The third, supplements. I've discovered, trial and error again, 2 supplements that I use religiously. One is a product called Zango, which I had mentioned to you. 1 ounce is a juice from Asia, natural.
Right.
1 ounce in the morning, 1 ounce in the evening.
But there are other nutritional products. That just happens to be one of them, and that's really something a
but
nutritionist.
I can attest to that because that's the one that worked the best for
Well,
me.
what you want to convey is that also, since it's in a gym type setting, and there's some wonderful gyms all around the country.
Yes.
They always have a trainer and whatever nutritional product. And of course, the doctor's intervention many times helps, depending on your situation.
Yeah.
So you do.
Well, you always must consult a doctor before you do anything. One of the first things in the book. Consult. Take the book to your physician. Say, look, doc, here's what I want to do, and I recommend a 30-day trial, a 30-day challenge. If you do everything in this book for 30 days, you can't miss starting to age reverse. How much you age reverse will be up to your body and up to you how much you actually put into it. But definitely the first thing you do, go see your doctor with the book, because there could be some things that you specifically have issue with that may be contrary to the book, and you'll have to take exception. I mention it 3 or 4 times in the book. Always work with your physician.
Well, I found a very great resource is the various, and of course we're Oakland County or Wayne County. They actually, the health department has nutritionists on staff.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's very, and it's one of those things that are available that if you don't ask, you can check with the Department of Health. And many times, a lot of the hospitals now, because of the competitive factor, have free nutritional type of practice, actually seminars and things. There's a lot to be said for that saying about knowledge is power. It is also going to get you out of some powerfully terrible situations if you don't follow their deal.
Yeah, I agree.
And what I was impressed with is I shared the book with a couple of trainer friends of mine, and they said, hey, this stuff really makes sense. And graphically in your book, you have pictures of different types of exercise equipment that almost all gyms have.
Yeah, they're basically universal.
I'm sort of spoiled. Rather than just doing only free weights, I like a little help. A little help from my friend. Isn't there a song about that?
In the book, they're all machines. Everything that's in that book is a machine. Because it's faster, it's easier. Again, that's another reason I recommend the gym. In addition to being around people, other people, which encourages you, the machines generally make it much faster, so you're not spending half of your life at the gym. You're in there for an hour and a half, 3 times a week. That's it. And some people, if you choose to spend more time, that's up to you, but it isn't necessary. I tried at times, I would spend 8 to 10 hours a week at the gym. I discovered with my techniques that I have learned that I can accomplish just about the same things that I accomplished with that 8-hour workout in 4.5 hours. But you've got to do it with the advanced methods that I have arrived at and found out about that are in the book.
So this isn't something that you dreamt about. You've actually been there and
trial
done
and error.
Well, you're
many
a perfect
years.
example of what the outcome can be. And the truth of it is that there is another really important aspect of working out in a gym, and that is the camaraderie-ship and the socialization that you develop.
Yeah.
And you know, when you analyze it, isn't that how we really, assuming if you're a normal, quote-unquote, human being, is that the buddy-type system.
Yes, in relation to other people.
Right.
Yeah.
So suddenly, you know, you feel an obligation. Hey, Charlie, you weren't there last week. What's going on?
Yeah.
So all
and
of a sudden,
what I found out is that when people buy, and it's a big business, buying those pieces of equipment and whatever it is, and you take it home and you set it up and that. I found out 9 out of 10 times the people stop using it, and it becomes a good clothes hanger. And that's basically it, or it's a closet stuffer that you end up putting into the garage sale. But when you go to the gym, you're inspired. That's why I recommend
you see other people,
joining a gym.
I could look like that guy. I have to share this
story. Doesn't work very long, though, because you lose interest when you're on your own. It's rare. It's rare that a person succeeds when they do those home gym things.
Well, you know, I heard this one presenter that was talking about weight management and all. He was like 450 pounds, and actually he was one of the people that gave a seminar at the pharmacy convention a few years back, and the pharmaceutical company had just brought out a new diet-type pill, and he started off his presentation. He says, "You guys are probably wondering why the pharmaceutical company would send a big guy like me to talk about weight control."
I would
wonder. But I want you to know that I've lost 50 pounds. So you can imagine how much heavier I was. But I found out this tip, that hearty laughter, ha ha ha, like belly type laughter,
it
helps and actually is the equivalent of being on an exercise bike for 30 minutes.
Wow,
so I
didn't realize that.
Well, he rushed out, got an exercise bike. He says, now I come home every day and I pull the exercise bike out of my closet and sit there and laugh at it.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God, that is great. Mike, that is a good one.
Laughter, it can help. But of course, what you stuff in your body, quote unquote,
where's that going to go?
That's also very critical. And the truth of it is that many times you can enjoy what you do, and at a gym you have at least an audience. And
make it fun. You can.
Yes.
People think that going to gym is, oh no, oh God, I can't wait till I'm done with this. I call it getting over the hump. Once you are there for a month and you begin to see success, your mind automatically wants to go to that gym and get a workout. I call it getting over the hump. But you've got to get to where the program is working for you. You start feeling younger. People start complimenting you. You will want to go to that gym. And it makes it easier.
Well, you know, and if you're fortunate enough, you can actually make friends to meet at a certain time. I know the gym I belong to.
And that helps.
We sort of become practically family because we share some of the
Yes.
situations.
It is a meeting place.
And conversation and socialization, that is so vital in the whole aspect of really enjoying life.
And being happy.
Right.
And that's in the book too.
Right.
Being happy. Make life happy.
Right.
There are enough times in your life where it's going to be difficult.
Oh, yes.
So whenever you can control it, make it happy.
Right.
And working out and showing yourself that you can be successful at it makes you happy.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I heard a great line that says, and I'm not trying to poo-poo, there's some people are living with a lot of very difficult challenges and what have you. But it's important also to try to remember that, as the saying goes, if life is not horrific, it can be terrific.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it.
So, depending on what you have involved in your relationship with your family and what have you, just having that extra camaraderie and that support makes a big difference.
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
we covered the exercise, the portion size,
Right.
and also supplements. What about the other point?
Okay, the other 3 points. The next 2, stress and sleep. Gyms.
S&S.
Gyms don't teach you about stress. They don't teach you about when you're sleeping, how much and how important that sleep is to the rebuilding process. I don't know why they don't teach it, but when I was teaching and I would talk to my students and I would say, how much sleep do you get? 4 hours, 5 hours, I take an energy drink, I don't need it. Wrong. I found you have to get between 7 and 8 hours of good sleep every night, or if you miss, make up for it, because that is the vital time that your body is rebuilding itself. So make sure you get enough sleep. In the book, there are some tips on how to get a good night's sleep. The next thing, stress. You can work out, you can get enough sleep, you can be very successful at everything you're supposed to do, but if you are stressed out, you're going to get sick. Stress plays a critical role in repairing your body and keeping your body young. So you have to learn to handle stress. There are some tips in the book about how to handle stress. But without taking care of the sleep issue, without taking care of the stress issue, you can be working out every day and you can watch what you eat and that, but you still are very vulnerable. More than likely, you're going to get sick, you're going to start getting old. So very important. Last but not least, facial care, which I failed at. I am a sun worshiper, I admit it.
Are you looking for a compliment?
No, I love the sun. I spend my summers here in Michigan on a lake. I live on a lake, and my winters are in the Florida Keys. I love the sun. I'm going to be getting a facelift soon to address that issue. Do I recommend people get in the sun a lot? No, but I'm just addicted. So, but the point I'm making about facial care, one of the first things that happens when you meet someone, where do they look? They look at your face. And if you got a shrivelly, wrinkly face, oh man, he's getting older. But if you take care of your face and just basic facial care, everybody knows certain things you have to do, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But facial is very important. In fact, this is an interesting thing that I sometimes will upset a student. An overweight student will come to me. I want your program. Okay. Guess how old I am? I never guess. Because what happens, if they're overweight and they've got a lot of fat in their face, it disguises how out of shape you are. Your face actually looks younger because it has less wrinkles. It gives off the wrong message. And you run around and say, oh, I must really be nice because someone just complimented me
Right.
on how young I look. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
They're complimenting you because you have a lot of fat in your face.
Right.
And that insults sometimes people, but I have to be honest with them.
Yes.
And when you're losing weight, sometimes you start to look drawn. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's that overall body impact that's the most important.
Right.
But it's deceiving. So facial care is very important,
well,
but you must recognize the genuine compliment and what it really means to you and interpret it likewise.
Right.
Thank the person, but yeah, the main reason I look really good is because I'm fat. Oh, no.
Well, there's actually good fat and bad fat too, as far as the overall deal. But you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
You know
Jury's out on that.
when the fat is too much for in your particular taste, and they have various techniques of testing the BMI, as they call it.
Yes.
And that's important. And,
See your doctor. See your doctor.
Right, absolutely. And
Doctor
there
will
is
tell you where you're at.
Well, I was on the board of the American Heart Association, and believe it or not, they actually made a whole issue about how important exercise really is. And what you bring out in your book is interesting, because many times, if you exercise properly, you can afford those extra few calories. I'm not saying you go over on a binge.
Yes.
But exercise is so vital, because, I mean, what is that?
You can eat more when you're exercising because
right.
you're consuming more calories. But you have to know how many calories, and there's a formula, again, in the book. You've got to count calories. That's another thing that people must know.
Right.
They must be aware, and it must become automatic approximately how many calories you need to carry on life and reverse age, so that you will constantly have the energy and constantly have the protein to rebuild the muscle mass and constantly work those muscles to rebuild them.
Right.
Because in a normal day, you are building muscle mass to a certain point, but that's only average. You have to do weightlifting in order to achieve the amount of muscle rebuilding you need to get younger, as opposed to just walking around and letting the aging process take place.
Right. Well, I can't help but be reminded, you brought out about facial type of appearance, and the line goes to the effect, you ever notice when you go to a class reunion, everybody looks so much older than you feel?
Yes, I know. And you're always looking around. Wow, did she ever get old? And you haven't looked at yourself lately in the mirror, have you? Well, I do. I look every day, but I don't notice it.
Right. No,
Yes.
A lot of really good feeling comes from the fact, if you look at the mirror and you like what you appear, so much as to what you perceive in your eyes has a lot to do with how you feel. Right. Yeah. So, but you have to be realistic in all due respect. And the thing is that when you analyze it, the truth of it is that exercise and portion size is still the walk-away message.
Exactly.
And with your book, Age Reversing, that really works.
And it does.
Hopefully we can make it work. And right now we've run out of time, believe it or not. And
well, thank you, Mike, for having me. I just know that this book is going to make a difference in the way people
that's
think
what we want to do. You move it or
getting
lose
old.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I only have enough time to leave the folks with my parting thought, which is, remember that yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking at life with the bright side of aging.